Getting the best freelance writing clients doesn't have to take more than an hour a day. And this is something that I teach my students that I'm teaching you today that I think is really, really important when it comes to freelance writer, freelance copywriter, marketing. And yes, you can send up to 50 LOIs an hour and get your 100 LOIs a month if you want to hit that number done in just a couple hours. So we're doing all this cool stuff today to go over how to actually do our marketing, how to find those premium freelance clients, how do we actually send those LOIs, how do we get 100 done in a couple hours, and just kind of understand the process and the systematizing and the templatizing that goes into that. So let's talk about number one. Number one thing. Hi, Vicky. Always love the wave. So number one thing that we're talking about today is when we're putting our LOI templates together, this is how we look pro and move quickly, right? So we're putting together these templates, and these are really important. And these are things that I talk about all the time that people ask about. So if you want to go to mandyellis.com/templates, you can get my exact LOI templates. I give you a whole bunch of examples. You get my LOI templates for using things for different niches. You get my LOI templates for when you're moving into a new niche or when you're moving out of a full-time job. You also get my contract templates. You get all of my LinkedIn marketing templates so that you can reach out confidently to people on LinkedIn. So if you're interested in that, check out mandyellis.com/templates. Hi, Marie. Nice to see you here too. So when I'm talking about 100 LOIs in 2 hours or less than 2 hours, right? So for me, I can get 50 LOIs done in an hour because I've templatized and systematized the process. That means I'm sending them. It takes me a couple hours to send them out, right? But I've already done all the pre-work. The pre-work is something that's always going on. This is, I think, something that gets mistaken where every time someone's like, oh, I need to do some marketing, they just start the whole process. That's not the key. The key is that the actual sending process is really quick because you've already done the pre-work, right? You've already made a list of clients, cut them by revenue. You've already looked at their website, looked at types of content, and then you've already found the contact person, right? So the actual sending of the LOIs doesn't take very long, and you do a big clump, right? All at once, get it done, and then you spend the rest of your time. Marie says those templates rock. They do rock. Marie has them because she's a Wealth Lab student and she was in Runway. But those templates, actually, I guess she has a lot more templates, but yes, those templates are awesome. So we're looking at these things in terms of getting everything together, and the sending process is quick. So the pre-work process, hi Annie, happy Friday. The process of learning the LOIs, the templates, that's all quick. That should be fast. Understanding who your ideal client is, that's a process that you should do over a long period of time, working with clients, understanding what you're looking at. So I think for me, when I'm thinking about finding those premium freelance writing, freelance copywriting clients, that work of understanding who your ideal client is the most important. That speeds up your process like nothing else. Yes, we have templates so that we can send things really quickly. Yes, we have a list to work off of. Yes, we already have revenue and their website, and we know who to contact, right? So the contact person is the content manager, content marketing manager, one of those people. If they don't exist, you go to the VP of marketing, director of marketing, or chief marketing officer. If none of those people exist, you go to the CEO. That's who you send your LOIs to. But this process is important that it's ongoing. And this is something that I think gets lost too when we're so focused on the numbers, right? When I talk about doing 1 hour of marketing a day, that covers lots of different things. 1 hour of marketing a day is like you putting in the sweat equity to keep your business moving forward, right? So the sweat equity is you are connecting with potential clients on LinkedIn who maybe don't have the revenue, or they're not quite at the right content process yet. Like they don't have enough content and they just seem like they're kind of still building their company. You're making sure you're adding people to your list, right? You're finding companies, whether you're finding lists or you're subscribed to a bunch of newsletters that send you information about your niche. And then there's companies or clients in there who are, or potential clients in there who are doing really well that you can take them out of that. Those things that you get, you can subscribe to like press releases from different places that cover your niche. So you can figure out what companies are growing, how much they're growing, what's going on. So you're always getting information. This 1 hour a day of marketing should be a bunch of different tasks. Yes, 1 hour can be sending 50 LOIs. If you want to bulk it up and send 100 LOIs in 2 hours, go for it. But I think a lot of times this consistency is more important, right? So the 1 hour a day of marketing is either sending LOIs, building your list, finding contact information, whether that's the person on LinkedIn or their email, whether that is cutting by revenue, finding revenues, whether that's finding lists, or whether that's connecting with people on LinkedIn, whether they're writers or potential clients. There's a lot of different activities that we can do in that 1 hour. But the key is that we're consistently chipping away at the marketing. The actual sending of the LOIs is like such a small part of the process. This is something that has to keep going, right? In order to have our business do the stuff we want, to reach the income that we want, to have the premium top level freelance writing clients or freelance copywriting or content strategy or brand messaging or messaging and positioning, any of those clients, we have to continually evolve this process and do this process. So when we're Marie says the basic templates. Yeah, so the templates that Marie got, so if you go to mandyellis.com/templates, she's talking about those. They saved her at least 10 hours a week, and that's 500 hours a year. Yeah, that's the thing, is the templatizing saves time so that you can find better clients, right? It helps you get more LOIs out. It helps you do the process in a way that like you can customize each LOI per niche instead of doing it by the client. So when we're moving through this process, we have to understand that these templates should already be pro, so that by the time you send the LOI, you feel confident, you feel sure, you're like, yes, I look like a rock star. And even if someone doesn't answer, I know that my LOI template rocks, right? That's why I always recommend doing these templates, like getting the bare bones, right? Getting the bare bones, putting meat on those bones, and then customizing per niche. So when I talk about LOI templates in my own business, I have at least, I don't know, like 20 of them, maybe 25 now, and they're customized. One is real estate, one's real estate and prop tech, one's real estate and hospitality tech, one is food and travel, one is fintech and SaaS. So like each one is customized by the clients I have in there, either maybe the skills I want to highlight if it's a niche I haven't quite worked in yet, things maybe experience. I've had 11 years of experience in this business. Or any kind of stuff in there that I think it would be important to my ideal client, right? And once those are already set up, then making the list is just something that you have as an ongoing thing, right? We need to eat every day. You got to make sure that you're eating by doing your marketing, right? That's what puts kibbles in the bowls. We can't just wait for clients to come to us. Yes, if we optimize LinkedIn and our website, clients will come to us and it'll be awesome. I should share this. I have a student who just got found by NBC Universal to write for CNBC. So I just had a student who emailed me who was like, hey, they found my LinkedIn and they wanted me to work with them. It was CNBC. I wrote an article for them. So it works, right? It works. But we also have to feed the beast, right? Feeding the beast is that 1 hour of marketing a day. So by the time you get to the 2 hours of sending the LOIs, you've already spent a bunch of time doing the process of finding the premium clients, understanding what that looks like, cutting by revenue, and then sending. So that's kind of the first part, is we are templatizing these things to look like a pro. We're templatizing our LOIs. We're customizing them by niche, and we're spending that 1 hour a day on our marketing. Now, if you're more motivated by numbers, yes, 50 to 75 LOIs, 50 to 100 LOIs a month, that's a great number to hit. But for me, that always made me feel like a failure. If I got like 70 LOIs out of 75, or if I got 56 LOIs instead of 75, I felt demotivated. So for me, or unmotivated. So for me, I switched to an effort goal. And I think the effort goal, from what I've seen from other six-figure writers, just the effort goal of doing the marketing every single day really helps. And this is something that you can change over time. So for me, when I've changed over time, I used to do my marketing daily, then weekly, then monthly. Now I do it quarterly. So that's kind of, I've sent thousands and thousands of LOIs. I have more inbound leads. But I feel like this process, when you're kind of in that middle range, when you're kind of like somewhere between 1 and 5 years of freelancing, or you're looking to upgrade your clients, or you're looking to identify better opportunities, or you are looking to be more choosy. In order to be more choosy, you have to have more choices. In order to have more choices, you need to send more LOIs, right, to businesses. Cool. Okay, let's talk about 2 real quick. So 2, hold on. 2, let's talk about 2. So we're also systematizing our marketing, right? So the part of this that makes it really quick, this is how you can send them, is you already have a system. So for me, it's really fast. Like, I'm constantly adding people to my list of potential clients. So I either get I get a newsletter from Crunchbase with like a list of clients, right? And I do all this time, like all the time. And this is why I recommend this to my Wealth Lab students and my Runway students. Crunchbase constantly sends out articles or some kinds of stuff in their daily newsletter that's like, it can be an article, it can be some kind of like, list of some kind. But there's lots of articles on Crunchbase where like they have scrollable lists. Like I have one right now that has hundreds of companies on it in a certain niche that I'm targeting. So like I can scroll through that list and I can figure out, they have revenue listed, they have the company, they have the niche, they have what the company focuses on. And all I have to do is pick the ones that are in the right revenue range for me, right? I pick the ones that make sense. So there's a lot of these things that you can get in your inbox, whether that's Crunchbase articles or the daily newsletter, the TechCrunch newsletter, or TechCrunch updates. There are lots and lots of niche publications, niche newsletters, niche PR reps that you can add yourself to their newsletter or add yourself to their press releases. And you get that stuff every day. Like I always talk about this. When I say I wake up to 100 emails, what I mean is like, I don't have to respond to all of them, but when I wake up to 100 emails, a bunch of them are things with potential clients where I'm like, cool, a new client who just got funding, a new client who just hired a new CMO, how much revenue do they have? A new client in this niche, right? I'm looking at all of this stuff all the time. I'm constantly analyzing it and it's just arriving in my inbox. Yes, I'm still looking at lists from other places. Yes, I'm still combing stuff, but the easiest way to add people to your list is just have this stuff come into your inbox. So look for those types of articles, those types of publications that follow your niches, PR reps, or sign up for PR Newswire and follow, make sure you tag in your profile that you're following certain niches and you will get those press releases. And they often talk about funding or updates or new hires, and they will give the revenue and the client name and the website and the person's name in the release. So those are really helpful. Then we're also, once we're systematizing that process, you start realizing like the systematizing is like finding a list or having things come to your inbox cut by revenue. And revenues are this is your minimum viable client. It has to have at least 5 to 50 million for like a traditional or mid-sized company, and a minimum of 3 to 10 million for startups. That's the minimum. Okay. Usually your clients have much more than that, but that's the minimum. And it really depends on how the client spends their money, which you don't know, right? You're kind of doing your best guess of like, hey, I noticed they're creating a lot of content. They make 12 million. It seems like they're spending more money on marketing because they have this amount of this amount of funding and there's a lot of content being created. So those minimum revenues are just the bare minimum. If I was starting out or if I was trying to refine my business to get better top level cream of the crop clients, I would do a bunch of revenue ranges, 100 million, 200 million, 5 million, 10, 12, 20. Like I would pick a lot of different revenue ranges and I would look at what they're creating. Like, is this, if I find a clump of 5 or 10 potential clients who all make 7 million and they're all not creating content, does that make them a good fit for content strategy because they need a plan, or are they just don't have enough money and they're still bootstrapped? What are they creating in terms of content? Who are they hiring? What does it look like on their staff on LinkedIn? So we need to kind of refine that process, look at those things, cut by revenue, find the person, right? The person is content manager, content marketing manager, VP of marketing, director of marketing, chief marketing officer, CMO, or CEO, right? CEO is the person you reach out to if none of those other people exist. So then we're going to put those people in a spreadsheet. We have their name and we have their LinkedIn profile or their email. Then we're going to send our LOIs either through LinkedIn in mails or through email, right? So that process gets a lot quicker once you start realizing like, oh, my best clients are, like I always talk about this, my best clients are Series B and Series C startups with 20 to 50 million. Those are my best clients. And I've gotten that through research, through sending LOIs, figuring out who responds, what type of company, what niche they're in, and then who actually signs contracts. What have been my best clients, my best contracts, right? So that process gets a lot quicker. That's not hard for me to do. Like I can scan something in 5 seconds and I look for like dollar signs or I look for niches. I scan these things, I open my inbox. I'm like, yes, 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 no, 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 yes. And it's a lot quicker. So that system, if you do that an hour a day, you can definitely send 100 LOIs in 2 hours. Not hard. So the second part of systematizing that is that we are cutting out time from all this other stuff. Like we're not trying to do everything at once. We're not trying to overload ourselves, but actually having a system in place for like, I know where to look for clients. I know where my best premium clients are, or I at least have a bigger range of revenues or fundings that I can go after to see who's my right client. I'm sending enough LOIs. I'm actually putting effort into connecting to companies that aren't quite ready yet. That system gets way faster. You get time back, and you can either spend that time taking time off, spending time with family, or doing whatever you want to do, or you can do more marketing, or you have time for more work, or you have time for other stuff. That time piece, I always think of this as priceless. Your time is priceless. You can't get it back. And a little like story that I always tell too is like if you ever send an LOI and someone responds rudely or mean, excuse me, or they say something mean to you because you sent an LOI, that person literally took time out of their day to be mean to you. Time they can't get back, right? Time is priceless. You can't get it back. So if you ever worry about people being mean or saying rude things or being upset that you sent an LOI, just remember if someone does that, they took time out of their day that they're never going to get back. They can't get that 15 or 20 minutes back or however long it took them to write you a mean reply. They can't get it back. Now they wasted lifetime. They're never going to get it back. So our job is to get the time back to do the things we want to do, right? So that was an aside story. If anyone's ever mean to you, just remember they can't get that time back, and time is priceless. It's gone now. So we get our time back to either do more marketing, work on better projects, have client meetings, make sure that we're sending our invoices and doing admin. Really, the systematizing is helping you scale your business. That's how I ended up moving from an hour a day to doing marketing weekly, to doing it monthly, to now doing it quarterly, because I can do it so much quicker. Like I can send the same quantity if I want to, right? Like I could spend a couple days sending hundreds of LOIs. I've already created this list. I've continually been adding to it, and I just boom, 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 go through them and send. Yeah, bah humbug to those people, Andy, for sure. So we're also, I think the thing to mention about when we're thinking in this way, this is kind of the key to how your best freelance writing clients and copywriting clients think. This is being on the same tuning fork as them, because your freelance writing clients aren't looking to do like 800 things. They're looking to do something with quality. They're looking to do it right. And they're looking to make it something that they can do that's repeatable, right? They want to create content that's quality that actually works and helps their audience, right? The way to do that is to systematize it. So if you already get your brain thinking about what does thinking in the way of systems and processes and templates, or how can I make this process better, or how can I hear basically what the audience is saying, or understand who is reading my content, where that audience is coming from. Are they B2B, B2C? Are they executives? Are they consumers? Are they moms? Are they teenagers? Is this, like a mental health app for kids or a mental health app for adults or what? Like if you really kind of understand that piece, that puts you in the same place as your clients. This process of being able to, I always call it wear a new pair of glasses, right? You're wearing a new pair of glasses by understanding who your ideal clients are and getting through this process quicker. That new pair of glasses serves you so much down the road in your career. You're able to analyze content better because you're looking at all these client websites all the time and reading their content and figuring out what types of content are doing well in your niche, or what types of content are being created in your niche very frequently. You can read it, you can analyze content better, you can write better content, you can figure out like who their audience is quicker. You build these analysis skills and these this search for quality, I guess, those kind of skills that are really imperative to you doing a good job with your clients, right? So you want to make sure that you're actually understanding this process. That systematizing of sending LOIs, finding premium clients, wearing the new pair of glasses, that applies to everything. And if you're someone who wants to move into content strategy, brand messaging, brand identity, messaging and positioning, or any kind of marketing strategy later on, this is really critical. This is what really helped me when I moved into content strategy, to be able to do the analysis. I was able to analyze competitors of my client, their content, their social media, what their audience was doing. I was able to come up with target audience examples, what their pain points are, what they struggle with. I was able to take the data, and use my analysis to come up with a great content strategy or brand messaging campaign, And those things come from this process. Because you're doing it over and over again, it becomes so much quicker, but it also really helps you in other stages of your business. It really helps you Like if you're analyzing competitors every day to find more clients, it's a lot easier to do your work. If you're looking at content pretty much every day from in your niche, you're like, oh, I've noticed the last 10 companies I looked at all made case studies. Maybe I should start offering that as a service, or maybe I should float that idea as an upsell to my client, right? There's a lot of things that we notice by doing our client research. Then once you have a bunch of this stuff down in your system, right? Then you're able to scale your business. You're able to help your clients better. You know more about your niche. You're getting a lot of intel, right? And then you're also able to create better content because you're seeing what competitors are doing. You're seeing how things are created, which things are better than others. And I feel like all of those things really align with the focus that top clients have. There's a big difference where I feel like too when we're talking about premium clients or we're talking about getting our marketing done quickly, like our best clients are the ones who do not operate like red light clients. Like there's a lot of times where I think, and I did this too in my career as freelance writers or copywriters, we want to make sure we're like, oh, I just want to go from red light clients to green light clients. And you can make a good switch very quickly. But there's also an understanding of like, you have to kind of meet your new green light clients at their level. So either you have to understand what that is and meet it, or you have to grow to the point where you're at the same level as them, right? So a lot of times with red light clients, when we're doing our marketing, like you might get mean replies to your LOIs, or you might get all this stuff, or they kind of chip down your confidence, or they say like, oh, well, how much can you do in an hour? Like kind of crazy stuff. But we want to look for people who are looking for quality. So we have to meet that, right? And doing these processes, understanding how to do them is to get on the same level. It puts you on the same level as your clients who are already looking at their competitors. They're trying to differentiate their content. They're trying to make sure that their audience understands it, right? That they're hitting their audience's pain points, or that they are connecting with their audience, right? They're increasing all of their metrics that they like, right? Which is likes, shares, subscribes, downloads, leads, sales, all the good stuff, right? So we kind of have to meet them at their level, and this process really helps you get there. That's 2. Let's talk about 3. Also, no pup date so far because Charlotte's outside. So we have a foster dog. Oh no, just kidding. Charlotte's here. Hold on. She just arrived. Hello, Charles. Oh, will you bring in the pet bed? The pet bed's not in here. It's over there. Hi, Charles. Hi, Charles. She's here. Speak of the snorkel. She's arrived. Hold on, Charlotte. I forgot to put your camera up. So we got to make sure we put your thing here. Charlotte's been having a good time. We can do a quick pup date and see what she's been up to. Oh, thank you. All right, Charlie. Now you have 2 blankets. How fancy. Okay. Go ahead. Good girl. All right, so Charlie, we'll do a quick pup date. All right, so Charlie has been having a great time. So we've, hold on, let's see if it'll fix itself. So we have, I don't know why it's not. Charles, can we put it like near your face and maybe it'll fix itself? All right, it's gonna be blurry for some reason. I don't know why it doesn't want to focus. Good girl, Charlie. So anyways, oh, hi Snorkel, you're doing great. I don't know why it doesn't want to like focus, because usually there it goes. Okay, good girl, Charlie. So Charlie's been having a great time with our foster dog, and they've been running around being wild. You might notice that her collar is covered in mud because they've been rolling around in the dirt and having a great time, and they've been chewing that ladybug toy that's by her haunches over there. So Charlie's been a wild beast, and she's been having a good time. Okay, so we'll do another pup date. We'll give her some snacks later. I'm sure that like now that I said that, she's going to have a meltdown. We'll see. So anyways, let's talk about 3. Let's talk about 3. So when we're kind of sending these giant piles of LOIs, right? When we're putting all these things in place, the process matters. But what also, the actual sending, you should think of it as kind of like the bonus. Like for me, the learning process of who's my ideal client, actually cutting by revenue, figuring out which revenue ranges make sense for me, figuring out who my best clients are, really analyzing the process is how you get to the next tier, right? Because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to figure out, oh, my best clients are these, right? It's group A. I thought it was group B. So then you start doubling down on finding more clients like group A, and then you have more success with your LOIs. You have more clients coming in, right? And you have better projects. So this actual process is how you get to the next tier 2, right? It's this analysis of the process. The actual sending of the LOIs is like a bonus of like, sweet, the marketing's out. Like, we'll see who responds. But the process of figuring out who your ideal clients are, the revenue ranges, understanding how to get your templates set up and actually systematizing that, and having all of these places send you stuff all the time, fixing your LinkedIn and website so you're getting the right inbound leads, meeting your clients at the same tuning fork level, right? So that you guys are on the same level. All of that stuff is really the meat. That's the meat of getting those top tier clients. That's the meat of really figuring out who is that person and then finding more of them, or who is that company and finding more of them, rather than just continuing to send tons of LOIs with no analysis. So sometimes the mistake that I see, and the mistake I made, was just doing it, just sending stuff. Like, I wasn't checking revenue. I wasn't checking on their content. I wasn't paying attention to like what was going on. I just like sent stuff. And then I was like, no one's responding. But the key is that you have to actually analyze it. You have to send enough. You have to do it for months and months and months, right? So I'm telling you to make sure you cut by revenue, you're finding the right person, you're repeating that process. If you're someone who's kind of coming in and you're still figuring that out, go to wider revenue ranges so you can kind of see who your better clients are. But you want to make sure that you're understanding the data and analysis part. That's the next level, right? Because now we're figuring out who our best clients are and who we can let go and what direction we need to take and who do we actually send more of these LOIs to. So when I just like sent them to anybody, it tanked my response rate and it tanked the amount of good projects I got. But once I started looking at it, who's actually responding? Okay, that's number one. Who's actually signing contracts? Who has great projects? Who's the type of client who needs this type of service after those first 3 things, right? That stuff is the key to getting really good response rates and understanding what types of projects you're going after and what types of things you can help your clients with, versus just sending mass messages. And the other thing too, I do want to put a warning on here that a lot of times people think they can send it as a mass email. Yes, there are people who create email lists for freelance writing clients, right? They have an email list, they email them, and they either provide tips or they just tell them like, hey, I'm open for work, whatever. I don't think that's as effective. And I think that's way later in the process when you're like, I know I want to attract, Series C SaaS companies that make, 50 to 75 million. And then you can make a freebie, right? Some kind of free download for them to get to join your email list. And your email list is specific to them. When it's just like content, like the content circus, that's not as effective. And it's a lot harder to get those higher tier projects. So I do want to make sure I mention like mass sending your LOIs, like as a group, like as a newsletter, like you're sending them all through a certain process, or you're like sending them through something that sends it all at once. Like you need to send them one-on-one. The one-on-one thing is what makes the biggest difference. Like it's a personal message, right? It's sent through LinkedIn Messenger or sent through email, but there's like no BCC. There's no like other people on there. It doesn't, some of them will customize it, but it just feels less personal and it's not as deliverable. So it's way better to just do it one-on-one. The one-on-one work that you do sending these LOIs one by one really makes a difference. I know it sounds silly and you're like, isn't there an easier way? Not yet. Hi, Charles. I feel like a lot of times that one-on-one work of sending each LOI, whether it's via email or LinkedIn, that's the thing that makes the difference in getting clients. Like they don't feel like they're just a number and you're just like, hey, I'm just mass sending this for the love of God. Somebody give me some work, right? You're actually putting time and effort into sending them something custom. You're putting something in their inbox that makes sense, right? You're sending it to Charles. You didn't even try. Okay, ready? You're sending them something something that they care about. You're sending them something that's in their niche. You're definitely a writer who's on their same level. Can you catch it? Good job. And I feel like that makes all the difference. When you're just like, hi, I'm a freelance writer and like I do these things. Do you need these services? Like it's almost like they're going through a car wash. They're just like, oh, you want extra soap on your tires because they're dirty? That's a service we offer. Like, it's not supposed to be a buffet of content. That's not the goal. The goal is not a buffet of content. Good job. Where everybody just stops in. You're sending these basic LOIs. Oh, so close. Can you get it? You want me to get it? These basic LOIs that just say like, hey, I do all these things. That's not the goal. Your goal is to be solving your client's problems. And that's why I often talk about the templates, right? The templates are there to show you how to solve your client's problems. The templates are there to show you the example of like, we're just driving through. Hi, do you need help? I'm qualified. I'm in your niche. I've worked with these clients, or I have these skills, or whatever. Buy, right? Like, or like basically check out my portfolio if you want to hop on a call, buy, right? So the templates are teaching you what needs to go in there, but there's also like this, piece of it that's not supposed to just be like, I've seen some LOIs that are either too long, right? So like I used to write these like multi-page LOIs that are like why they need this thing or how it's helpful or stats that back it up. And it just never worked. Because when you're trying to cold reach out to someone and convince them they need something, like that doesn't work. You need to listen to your clients. So you send the LOI being like, hey, do you need help? And if they do need help, they can reach back out to you, right? Hey, I do need help. Great. And that leaves the door open to possibilities versus saying like, hi, you need this content. I do all these content things. Bye. Like that doesn't work. And the long LOIs take forever. Go back to your hubble hole. Thanks. All the way back to your hubble hole. Oh, okay. So the long LOIs are not scannable. They're not helpful. You're spending too much time cold telling someone why they need something or how it helps or whatever. The short, to the point LOIs that hit all the good things, those are the ones, like, that's why I made these templates. Is I've had a bunch of people. This is like a multi-year thing where I've had people say like, hey, thank you for this like they don't know it's an LOI, right? They're just like, thank you for this. It stood out in my inbox. I would love to chat more. There's a lot of places that just mass send things, and especially on LinkedIn where like every day I get messages from like people being like, you need this. Like, I noticed you're a this, whatever it is. They're just like, insert word. I noticed you're a this. That means you need product from brand. So templates, mandyellis.com/templates. But I feel like when you're doing these shorter LOIs, when you're doing the drive through, and you're getting to the point, but you're also explaining to them like, hey, I'm actually qualified to help you. I do these projects, or I worked with these clients, or you have like, skills that are going to help them achieve their goals, right? That's the point, is achieving their goals. The goal isn't that they need content. The goal is that they need to solve a problem. And I think that's the biggest mistake people make when they kind of put their LOIs together, right? They're kind of, worried about they're just worried about sending them without actually cultivating a really good list. They're worried about like, I have to make the sale, which you can't control that. You can't control who's going to answer or when they're going to answer your LOIs. And they're not focused on like asking someone, do they need help, and leaving the door open and actually listening to their clients. I think that's important, right? What do you think, Charles? Yeah, the LOIs, she's like over here eating all the snacks. The LOIs, right, are really important to you getting to the next level, to talking the same way as your clients, and to actually listen to what they need help with and solve their problems, right? If you're just going in there and treating it like a fast food restaurant where you're like, they need content. They don't need content. They need you to solve a problem. And that problem comes through creating content for their specific audience to solve the problem of they need more leads, sales, subscribers, likes, shares, comments, downloads, whatever it is. Okay. So once you understand that part, once you understand that the LOI or your LinkedIn or your website, all those things together are solving a problem, your job is to solve content problems for your clients to help them get results, which are leads, sales, subscribers, downloads, likes, clicks, shares, whatever the metric is that they want. That changes the way you send your LOIs and changes the way you view your clients. Your clients aren't just like, this was something I made a big mistake on. It was, I used to think to myself like, oh, well, I can do that. I can help them, right? I know I can help them. I know that I can, do this work. I know that I can, figure it out. If I don't know how to do the work, like, just, let me do it, versus saying like, oh, they need help with these specific things via content. They need help with leads, sales, subscribers, like all the things that they want through marketing, right? but the avenue is content, right? So once you understand that part, you see yourself as solving those types of problems versus like just being a content creation machine, which is not what you are. You're not a content creation machine. Right now, you guys kind of understand about getting on that same level as your clients. Your clients are on that level. They're not down here saying like, I need a writer, I just need to create content in a vacuum, I just need to like push stuff out. That's not what they're doing. They're like, hey, I need to get more leads. In order to get more leads, we need to create a case study because we've noticed that our audience really responds to that. We need a writer who knows how to create those, or who has quality content or clips, who can help us create a quality piece of content, which is a case study, in order to get more leads so we can get more sales. So they have a process that they're thinking about, right? And a lot of times when we work with red light clients, or when we worked with not super great clients, we don't understand that, because the client comes in saying like, I was told I need a blog, I just need to do it. And that just doesn't work long term. And the other piece is consistency, right? So we know that our good clients are creating content consistently. There we go. And this is something that I see too, where that LOI consistency falls off. That's the money train. The money train is being consistent about sending your LOIs. The money train is like not only consistency with your LOIs, but listening to the research and data. So your clients are creating content consistently, right? You want to be on their level. You want to have ongoing projects. You need to be a person who has habits of consistency. Those things need to align, right? Marie says, I had one client who said your note to meet was so unique, I knew you weren't a red light. Yeah. I remember that you sent an LOI who said like the LOI was, or you sent an LOI to a client and they said it was really unique. It's just, I feel like that's what stands out, is like that you're actually listening to them, or you're asking if they need help, or that you are someone who is actually paying attention versus just coming in there and saying like, buy my shit. Like anytime you find yourself creating an LOI that's just like, buy my shit, that's not going to work. It might work a little bit, but it's not going to work with the top tier clients. They're looking for the right people to partner with. They're looking for the right people to collaborate with. They're looking for people to solve a content problem. And that's why our LOIs are templatized. We create this great template where it clearly says, like, I know how to do these things. If they double check your LOI or your LinkedIn and website, those things all align, right? And then we're using that data and research of like what things are working out in our business to then find more of those clients. Okay, does this all make sense? I actually have a question that I need to make sure we do. Can you go back to your hubba hole? No, you don't want to? Charlotte's been such an extra good girl recently that I kind of like haven't made her do as many things because she's been good about other stuff. So has this been helpful so far? If you feel like this has been helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you want to learn more about building a successful or high earning or your version of success freelance writing business where you're booked, subscribe. Okay, let's talk about this question. Actually, I think we have two. So we're going to do one first, and then we'll do the other one later. Okay, so let's talk about this question. So Peace says, I'm a technical writer and have been freelancing for a while, but my clients don't pay well, under 10 cents a word. I want to reach out and work with agencies, but I don't know how to find them. Googling isn't helping me much. Is there a way to find agencies for freelance writers? Is there a directory or a list or a way to find them? So when I'm, so under 10 cents a word is not good. So if you're doing technical writing, I'm sure that there are agencies that do technical writing, but a lot of agencies end up doing kind of content marketing work. And I'm not actually a big fan of working for agencies. Like that's not, I just think that it's better to work with clients one-on-one, because when you work with agencies, you get referred to other agencies versus like when you work with clients one-on-one, you can find lots of others of those. There's a lot more of those in agencies. So I'm kind of wondering if the agency part is why you're struggling, because being a technical writer, I don't think there's like huge piles of agencies that focus on technical writing. There are agencies that do that. And the way I would tell you to do it is like Google it. There was like a list of content marketing agencies. I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but there is like a place that's like I forget what it is, but it's like an organization that like lists all the content marketing agencies. So I would look for a content marketing agency and see what's up. and try to find that. There's like a website with a list of agencies, but literally a lot of times it's just Googling. Like it's just Googling content marketing agency, or Googling content marketing agency in your state or in your city or in your country, or with a specialty, right? Content marketing agency, technical writing, or something like that. But I would really recommend that you actually build the list like I'm talking about. Like you actually build a list of potential clients who are in your niches, right? They cover technical writing, whether that's SaaS or IoT or cybersecurity or DevOps or Kubernetes or whatever the technical part is. I would find lists of companies, cut them by revenue, and send your LOIs versus looking for agencies. Like there are a lot fewer agencies than there are potential clients for us as freelance writers. So I would definitely focus on the finding lists of clients, or using like places to like g2.com is a really good place to like find lists of softwares or technical products. So you can go on there and search like DevOps, or you can search G2 for like a certain client, like a certain name of a client you have or a certain company, and find competitors and send LOIs to them. So that's a better way than agencies. I know that a lot of people think agencies are great because they farm out work, right? They're like, I don't have to do any marketing. I just find the agency gives me work. And that sometimes is the case. You find a great agency, they pay well, and they're doing all this work to get you work. But I've worked with like one or two, I think it's two, outside agencies, and then all the other agencies I've worked with are my friends' agencies. And I just feel like a lot of times when you're doing that middleman thing, like the client is paying the agency and the agency is paying you and everybody's getting a cut, and you don't actually build a relationship with your clients, it's a lot more difficult to find higher paying stuff because there's not a lot of agencies. There's not millions of agencies that pay high rates. There are millions of clients or hundreds of thousands of clients who are great, fantastic clients for you to work with one-on-one. So for me, I would do that. I would work on sending your LOIs. I would work on the process of learning that. Who's my ideal client? Let me go through and make lists. Let me go cut them by revenue. Let me find the content marketing manager, VP of marketing, director of marketing, CMO, CEO, whoever the person is at that company, send those LOIs and plant seeds. It's much better to plant those seeds than worry about the agencies. Are just like such a small area. Like there's just not as many opportunities as there are working with clients one-on-one, right? Because there's like so many more businesses than there are content marketing agencies. So especially if you've been freelancing for a while and you feel like you should be earning more, you definitely should be earning more than 10 cents a word. There's a lot of agencies that pay, 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents a word. Every once in a while I hear about an agency that is paying, $1 a word for certain types of content. But a lot of times it's just really low paying work and they want it fast. So yes, there's like one place that I know of that lists a bunch of content marketing agencies, but you would need to Google content marketing agency list or something like that, or content marketing agency association. I forget what it is. It might be a nonprofit, but there's a big list of them. But there's not like hundreds of thousands of them. There's like some like hundreds. I don't know, maybe 100. But yeah, so my recommendation is anytime, especially for Peace asking this question, anytime you find yourself kind of in this hole like that, it's way better to plant your own seeds with your LOIs. Yes, you can definitely go after agencies too if you prefer and want to do that. You can, like I said, you're going to have to, that's kind of like Googling around. Like there might be associations, like you can go look for lists from the Content Marketing Institute or places that focus on content marketing. They would have lists. But really, a lot of times it's like planting your own seeds, sending your LOIs, learning who your ideal client is, wearing that new pair of glasses to do the analysis, and not having to work on these short deadline, low paid projects. Okay, I saw more questions. We'll go back to your hobbit hole. Oh, you got a pricker in your ear. Go back to your hobbit hole. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, Marie says agencies only pay a little bit better than content mills. Been there, done that. Yeah, I did content mills too. So I started with content mills too. I had a couple of those. Yeah, it's just better to find your own clients. And the idea here is that you are searching for diamonds. You are digging for diamond clients versus you being like, hey, I want to work with an agency because they'll just give me work, when not all agencies are great. And there's like some agencies that are good, some agencies not so good. And you really want to build relationships with your clients so that you can learn who they are and then also get referrals. Bruce says, is it a good idea to include a link to a relevant clip? Oh, sorry, Charles. Is it a good idea to include a link to a relevant clip in an LOI? For example, if you're pitching to their need for case studies, should you include a link to a case study you previously wrote? So we're not pitching to their need for case studies. We don't know that. So there's a couple things in here that I think would help Bruce to kind of switch the kaleidoscope idea that you're looking through. So one, we're just asking if they need help. That's the goal. The goal is like, hey, do you need help? I'm qualified. I've worked with these clients, right? I'm a freelance content marketing. This is in the, right? These are in the templates. So if you go to mandyellis.com/templates, you can grab them. But in there, you're putting in your title. You're saying, I've worked with these clients. I'm in your niche. Like, you're putting a bunch of things in there. You're not saying like, hey, I need to pitch to convince them they need case studies. Or if you saw case studies on their website, we're just asking if they need help because we don't know if they're continuing to do case studies, if they shut that down. And a lot of times, this was the mistake I made, was like, I would get a client, and this happened to me a bunch. I would have a client would be like, oh, I don't need help with X, I need help with Y. And because I said, like, do you need help with X, they would assume I didn't know how to do Y. So they like put me in a box. Like, a lot of times when you're reaching out to clients, they don't understand that we write a lot of things. They're just like, oh, this person only specializes in blog posts, or this person only does this thing. But if you open it up to just, do you need help with content marketing efforts? That allows them to say like, hey, we need help with case studies, guides, and this other thing. Can you do all of that? So we're not pitching for case studies. So like, we're not going in there and saying like, you need this thing, or I noticed on your website you had this thing. Like, we would very rarely do that for our LOI. So that's the first thing. You should be going in there and saying, do you need help with content marketing efforts? Leave it at that, because that leaves it open to them explaining what they need help with versus putting you in a box of saying they only do this. Two, the only link that you're putting in your LOI is to your portfolio. So you would be putting a link, hey, here's my portfolio to check out my clips and testimonials. Or you would, if you don't have a website where your portfolio is, put a link to your LinkedIn profile in there. But that's the only link. If we put in too many links or attachments or other stuff, it won't go through. It's like, you could send stuff through, LinkedIn Messenger, but emails, like, we just want one link, nothing else, because the more stuff you put in there, the lower the deliverability. So there's a lot of times with corporate emails too, where they will like say like, you can't, they won't let emails in with like a bunch of links. And I never recommend putting relevant clips in there because, like I said, we're going in there saying, do you need help with this? If you want to look through my portfolio and testimonials or just whatever, here's the link to that. That allows them to look around at stuff. If they want specific clips, they will answer your LOI. Hey, do you have any case study samples? Then you can send whatever you want, 3 to 5 samples. But for me, what I found is like, one, I got put in a box by pitching a service or saying like, you need to have, you need this thing, or saying like, hey, I noticed blah, blah, blah on your content on your site. Like, do you want to do more of that, or do you need help with that? That put me in a box, and they didn't realize I did other services. Like, that just stopped them in their tracks. It's way better to just go in there. Do you need help with content marketing efforts? And I would target companies where you have seen that they're creating case studies regularly. I just wouldn't put it in my LOI. That way they could come to you and say, we need help with case studies. You'd be like, I can do that. And then the second piece, right? Links in there. I just don't put clips in there because of deliverability, and because like, once you start putting extra stuff in, it needs to be scannable and easy. Hi, do you need help? I'm qualified. I'm in your niche. I've worked with these clients. If you want to check out my portfolio or testimonials or whatever, blah, 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 here's the link. If you want to hop on a call, blah, let me know. That our LOI's goal is not to necessarily secure a project. Like, our LOI's goal is not to go in there and just be like, hi, you need this thing, and oh my God. The whole goal of the LOI is just to be like an introduction. That's why I like a drive-through, right? You're just driving through. Hi, do you need help? Blah, 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 bye. You wouldn't sit down to a coffee meeting and treat your LOI that way, right? A lot of people like, use email or they use LOIs to basically try to write a novel in there or try to include all this stuff because they think that stuff is what gets them hired. And it isn't. It isn't. That is just, they don't know you, right? So if you send a clip or you send whatever, they still don't know you. So our goal is actually to get them on a call, because talking to them, listening to them, finding out more about their project, giving them potential advice or talking through deliverables, that really works on sealing the deal versus trying to stuff everything into the gills in the LOI or trying to like pitch too much stuff in the LOI. And that was a mistake I made for a long time, like probably like a couple years, where I was like pitching ideas or I would like make these super long LOIs, like 2-page LOIs. And it's just when I kind of cut down to this like quick scannable thing where like, hey, do you need help? You can answer and we'll talk. That worked a lot. That works really well on just getting a response, because that's what we're looking for. We're getting a response. That's the initial goal, is just to get a response. Then we can get on a call. We can learn more about their project. I think the other thing to think about on that too is like when we're looking at clients, we don't want to sign every client. Like we don't want to sign every single person who comes in and answers an LOI. There's this misconception where like if someone answers my LOI, I'm like, oh my God, just give me this work, blah, right? Like that's not the goal. The goal is to sign the right clients. The goal is to have the right collection of clients and understand that they're doing the types of projects you want to do, and they're you're giving them your rates and they're like, yep, that sounds good. So it's not, there's a misconception from writers where they're like, hey, I just, I'll send this thing and I'll get some work. The goal is to talk to people. The goal is to get someone to answer the LOI. So then you can take the next step of figuring out if they're the right client for you. Yes, there are points where that you will get to where, yes, you need a client and you need money now and you need to fill the kibbles up in the bowls and like everybody needs to eat. Yes, those times definitely happen. And there will be times where you're like, please, for the love of God, someone answer this LOI because I need work. But the rest of the time, which should be the majority of the time, you're sending these LOIs, you're getting better at who you send them to. They are quick and scannable, and you're just trying to elicit a response. We're just trying to get any kind of response, whether that's I'm going to put your name on file. Yes, let's get on a call. Yes, I have a project. Here's the deliverables. Does that sound like a fit for you? No, don't ever talk to me again. Like the LOI's goal is to elicit a response. That's it. And then we can go into everything else on the call, and we can work on, figuring out if that client is a fit for you. That's important. That's an important mindset shift of like realizing that you need to figure out if the client is actually a good fit for you. Does that help at all, Bruce? Vicky says, oh yeah, when an agency gives you an unscheduled random Fiverr, yeah, agencies, I'm not a big fan of agencies. I've worked with some, like I said, my friends' agencies, and then I've also worked with, like 2 other agencies, but it's just, I know a lot of people like working with agencies, but I think for me, I just don't like the middleman. Like I like to know my clients. I like to talk to them. I like to learn more about their audience, how their company works, like how their content makes sense, because that makes my process better for each coming client versus the agency that like you're not getting all the information. It's like the telephone game where it like changes as you go along, right? So I feel like you are a lot better off learning more, having one-on-one relationships with clients, and the other tier of that is pay, right? Like the pay that I get for agency work has always been lower than the pay that I've gotten one-on-one with clients by a chunk, either hundreds of dollars or more. So for me, I feel like there's so many more benefits, opportunities, learning things, a lot more leverage and good stuff that comes from working with clients one-on-one versus agencies. And if you're doing your LOIs, right, that was the whole point of this. If you're doing your LOIs, you're systematizing the process, you're making sure you're sending them, you're looking at the data of who's your best clients, how is this working out, who should I double down on in terms of like types of clients to send more LOIs to. That is way better than the agency, because you're just waiting for the agency to farm out more work, or you're waiting to find another agency to farm out more work. If you create your own work, you're in a way better place. Okay. Charlotte, let's do one last pup date, but you got to go back to your hobbit hole. You can't just like Grinch over here. Go back over there. Good girl. All right, let's see if we can catch some. You got to go in there though. All right, you ready? Oh, sorry, Charles. That wasn't a good toss, right? So Charlotte's been a real good girl too. So everybody in the house here has been doing really well with our new foster dog. Charlotte has made a really good friend, so that's good. I know that people ask me how she's doing. Here's something too. We have so Charlotte's about to turn 11 in a couple months. And so when she's kind of been kind of rickety and she's been a little arthritis-y, so we gave her a shot. She now gets a shot for arthritis treatment and stuff. And it worked like crazy. Like she went from being stiff and stuff, and now she's like running around like a puppy. And our foster dog is 1 year old, so they have a 10-year age difference. And she's been doing great, and she's been a really good buddy. She's been a really good with her boundaries, and she's been really good with being friendly and being a gold star bean. Good job, Charlie. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. If you ever have questions like the one I'm answering here, you can always submit them, mandyellis.com/question, or if there's a topic you want me to cover, pop it in there like I just did with Pieces question. If you ever have questions you want to hang out live, you can always come and ask them live. New video formats. Last thing. So I'm releasing new videos now. So we're doing live streams and I'm going to do pre-recorded videos. So I put up one. It's the only one in the video section. So go check that out. It's about kind of how I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, but ended up hitting 6 figures, even though I ate all the fruit from the Dum Dum tree. So that's available. And I'm going to start doing those. So let me know what you think. I'm trying to make them shorter and I'm trying to make them more focused, I guess. So let me know what you think of it. I would love to hear comments. If there's anything that you feel like you want to change about LOIs or things that you feel like are different, like pop them in the comments below. Is there anything that you would change about your marketing or questions that you have, or you feel like things aren't working with your LOIs? Like pop them in the comments. Let me know. I hope everybody has a great Friday. I will see you next Friday at noon Central. We're here every Friday except for time off at noon Central time. And if you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.